Hey.
Okay. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna pull it up on my other computer, but something happened with YouTube where it was like, oh no, it's violating the terms of service, and I'm like, I'm not a fan of YouTube and how much it demonizes mental health things and like demonetizes it and then takes it off the internet, so that's probably just what happened. So hello to you all guys again. We're trying take number 2. Yeah. We looked at our stream thing and it was like detected copyright. I can't do the stream. So maybe like one of the system names we said was like a copyright thing. I don't know. Or maybe it's just YouTube being shitty to mental health creators again. But
One
yeah,
of those things.
take 2. Yeah. Ah. Anyways, just on like how has your day been, Alexandria System? We haven't talked too much today. That might be a good starting
Mine?
spot. Yeah. How
Yeah,
was
I've
y'all's
kind of
day?
been holding off conversation with y'all today because it's
Mm-hmm.
like I wanna I wanna save it for the stream. But our day has been okay so far.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we hung out for a while this morning as we've been doing for the last while, just kind of
Mm-hmm.
laying in bed for several hours a day. Um, and then we got up and filmed a video, and then we filmed a TikTok, which was
Oh.
fun. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we filmed one for our channel, and then we filmed one for TikTok. Um, I'm very excited about the video that's going up on our channel tomorrow. I think I mentioned it to you. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
what if it turns out you don't have DID?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, which is very fun.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. That sounds really fun. We have not had like too much of a productive day today, but we got up earlier than expected, which was really nice. And
nice.
then what have we done today? I know we ate lunch. So we rebaked some fish and some french fries and we had lunch with our girlfriends. And then um we did things before that, but I don't know what they were. We got up, we looked at Twitter in bed. Oh, there's like a blank spot. That's lovely. I think we did the multiplicity May stuff, but it was a nice little day so far, I think. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Oh, there is Tim in the comments asking, is everything doing okay? Yeah, I think the stream
I
should.
seem to have lost you guys.
Oh, you lost us? Can you
I'm
hear us?
just uh,
Hello, hello?
I'm just gonna disconnect and reconnect.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're frozen. Here, I'll let you know.
Hey, there we go.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, you froze and then like stuff happened.
You
Um,
froze on my screen.
oh no. Double frozen. Um, yeah. Honestly, even like the other computers being awkwardly laggy, even though it's like not participating in any of the stream. So I don't know if it's just like the shitty Wi-Fi somehow. I don't know.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Okay. No, I'm gonna catch up on the chat. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Lunch with my girlfriend is very productive. Um, someone asks what's multiplicity May. I think it's mostly circulating on Instagram right now. But every May there's a set of prompts that you talk about your system in. Like the first prompt was talk about your inner worlds. The second prompt was talk about your communication, and the third prompt was like talk about your system name and your alters names. And you do one prompt each day for the month of May, and it's this cute little like grounding mindfulness activity and sharing things with other folks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
We've been doing it on our Twitter, and Susan has been doing it just about like her stuff on her Instagram.
Hmm. Susan deserves the best.
She does.
She does. In this house, we love and protect Susan.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. So how's the chat doing today? How are you guys vibing? What's up with y'all? What would you like to talk about today? In the whole 30 minutes that the Alexandrite system and us called before starting the stream, we didn't actually set up a list of like things to talk about, which is we were planning on doing that, but then well.
I find that often we just kind of
Mhm.
ramble on our streams. Like somebody will bring up something in the chat, and then we'll just kind of go off on it.
Yeah, that's a good way to go. Yay! Thank you to everyone who's being like congratulations in the chat because that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, congrats, guys.
Congratulations on whoever just ate an entire cucumber. I'm proud of you.
Ooh, I'm jealous.
Mhm.
I need a vegetable in me.
Yeah, we went to the store yesterday and we just like it was like in the like post Mother's Day sale of flowers, so there was a whole bunch of really cheap flowers and we were like this close to buying flowers for our girlfriend. But our girlfriend hates getting flowers, so we were like, we're gonna
What?
just yeah, she doesn't like them. She's like, why are you buying me flowers? They'll just die. So we got apple cider and a single kiwi instead because it cost the same amount, and we've been enjoying that.
Hell yeah.
Admittedly, a little bit more than flowers.
You know what you can do for flowers for her? You can get her plastic flowers,
Exactly.
and they won't die.
And they won't die. She'll probably be like, what am I gonna do with these? Where should I put them? She's very like practical. That's good. Yeah.
You know, I've heard that grocery stores have their like floral section by their produce section so that your brain kind of thinks that everything in the produce section is fresher.
Mm. It's like I don't know if it's like near in our store because the flower section is dangerous in our grocery store because it's right as you walk in the door. So I have
Ah,
to walk by not only all the flowers but all of the little plants you can buy. We have to walk by the plants without buying 5 more plants. And every time I see like the peace lilies and I'm like, "Oh my god, I desperately want a peace lily," but we were at max capacity before we got 5 more plants recently, and then we got 5 more plants, and now we're just over max capacity, and that's okay because plants are good. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. I'm catching up on the chat real quick. Mhm.
oh, I just realized I'm in top chat, not live chat.
Oh. Oh, I'm in
But
top chat too. Oh, gosh. Okay. We need to go to all chat. I don't think it actually changed anything, but now I'm in live chat again. Mhm. Um, Someone asks if it's okay to like do a small rant in the chat box as long as you like it's not about like super triggering content. Um, we're happy to hear about like minor frustrations in your day. Yeah.
I actually got my girlfriend a bouquet of broccoli one time and cooked it for dinner later that night. That is great. I
That's
love that.
really good. I'm gonna I might do that. But we don't know when we're going to the store next, so Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. All the plants are definitely a trap in the store. We have like a spider plant, like 5 or 6 pots of succulents, a bamboo plant, 2 pothos plants, and a giant boy that like hits our waist. They're very good plants, and some of them are like on the floor right now to catch the sunlight coming in through the window, but we have way too many.
Last year, after we had our surgery, our mother-in-law
Mm-hmm.
actually gave us this little thing of succulents.
Oh.
But the thing is that we had no place to really put it,
Mm-hmm.
and so we put it in our room near a window, and they just kind of disintegrate. Like they're gone.
Huh. That's huh. Interesting. Well, if you ever want a succulent, ours routinely have babies.
That'd be
Really
great.
good. Yeah, that's good. Whenever we'll eventually see you guys again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wonder.
Yeah. Oh, Saunders out for the Alexandrite system. You can see it
You
in
know,
the background.
yeah, I tried to put it up here
Yeah.
because on our streams, people kept saying like, "Hey, you should put that on your
Mm-hmm.
thing," and I just kept putting nonsense on there.
Yeah. And I feel like the silver anxiety has officially plowed Aaron out of the front. So Aaron is not here anymore. We used to be co-fronting, and then now I just got so anxious. It's just silver time. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Plants are so good.
Yeah, love me a plant.
And the snails are not here yet, which is
Yeah, I
very
was
sad.
gonna say, weren't they
Yeah.
supposed to be here yesterday?
They were supposed to be here yesterday, but they got delayed one day, so they are in the same city as us now. But because the mail does not deliver on Sunday, we are not getting them.
Snails in the big city.
Snails in the big city, exactly. Yeah.
Grocery shopping while multiple is always an
Yeah.
adventure. I remember early on in our system discovery,
Mm-hmm.
there was one grocery shopping trip where it was just like a lot of blending or like rapid switching,
Mm-hmm.
and we just ended up with so much weird shit, weird stuff
Mm-hmm.
in our basket. Um, and yeah,
Yeah.
it was a trip.
Yeah. It's definitely normally like that for us. The past couple months not quite the same because of just like external circumstances and like being really anxious in public places, but back before that, we would just end up with all sorts of stuff. I mean, this recent trip, we got marshmallows for Evie
Heck yeah.
because they've been wanting marshmallows and they were like, please give me marshmallows. And I'm like, you've been doing a good job of fronting and not being stressed. So they deserve marshmallows.
Well,
Yeah.
Evie can have little marshmallow as a
Evie,
treat.
Evie can have lots of marshmallow as a treat. There's a big giant bag.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are they big marshmallows or small
They're
marshmallows?
like the mini marshmallows.
Heck yeah,
Mm-hmm.
those are great.
Those are great. Yeah, I'm gonna catch up with. Yeah, we saw. There's a comment about we always have to go with a list or else our cart fills up with chocolate, and we walked down the chocolate aisle to get bread because for some reason they put bread and chocolate in the same aisle in our grocery store, and we can't eat a lot of chocolate just because of a whole bunch of allergies. But we saw the chocolate that we can eat, and it's fancy chocolate. And I'm like, we don't have money for that, so I'm just gonna like avert my eyes. I cannot see the chocolate. And we made it through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's Audrey is big on chocolate, and
Mm-hmm.
she always looks for this one specific type that she likes, but
Mm-hmm.
she found out last night that it got discontinued.
Oh yeah, I saw that on Twitter. No.
Yeah, it's really sad.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, to back up on the conversation for a little bit, someone asked which silver. All of us have chosen other names except for Silver Number One, who is the Silver that does YouTube most of the time. So Aaron is one of the Silvers compared to me, Silver, right now. My number is Silver Number Four, but I'm keeping the name Silver. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah.
Oh my gosh. Someone in the chat was like, we discovered online shopping independent of each other, and suddenly we have knee high boots and also a giant shark plushie in our cart when I looked away. Online shopping and systems is the worst combination ever.
Oh my god, like let me go through my Amazon thing right now.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. There's like a joke running within like our friend group of systems that the joke is all money is little's money because it can convince you to get anything sometimes it feels like. But
God, it's
yeah,
true.
yeah,
Actually, it's not been that crazy on Amazon. We've actually bought a few things from Etsy though that we probably shouldn't have,
yeah. Oh, that's good.
including like that wax seal stamp.
Mm. I mean, that's a good investment. Like a wax seal stamp with your system logo, like you're just gonna use that.
It's true. We can use that for like if we send things to patrons or
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Yeah. I need to blow my nose, but the computer that's streaming is on top of the Kleenex box.
Oh no.
And like we typically have like our jar, but like this isn't used too badly, so I'll just it's good. Rip.
We
Um,
actually bought Susan's birthday dress recently too.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Mads is here. Hi, Mads.
Is Mads here?
Yeah.
Oh, Mads! Hello, Mads.
Hi, cutie.
Gay.
Mads
Um,
is our spouse.
yeah. There's a comment about not gonna lie, we had to hide our card so we couldn't connect it to Amazon. He's only allowed to get gift cards, otherwise we'd have no money left. I'm assuming that's about a little. We actually have a story about in February we met up with some of our very close friends, and at one point we went to a gift shop because we were bored, and one of our system friends was like, I feel two of our littles really close to the front. So ring system, here's my credit card. Please hold on to it so they don't buy 50 things. And I'm like, okay. It's a very real problem to have. And I feel like the more amnesia you have, the harder it is to stop them from buying
Oh,
things.
yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
God.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. We love Mads.
We do love
We do
Mads.
love Mads in this house.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Pardon.
Bless you. Don't die.
Not. Thank you.
Um, yeah. I feel like my brain is like, I've finally been exposed as like just an anxious, complete like ball of anxiety. Because I feel like we try very hard to like all of our videos be like, oh, we plan it out beforehand. We do lots of takes to make sure it like actually runs smoothly and everyone can understand us. And now we're just on stream like kind of tripping up over our words and like rambling and just like
I remember you did a video like the difference between you guys on YouTube and you guys in real life, and you're like, we are far less put together in real life.
Yeah, we're far less put together in real life.
We actually watched that video like the night before we came to see you guys for the first time.
Oh,
We were like, we've seen this before, but let's take a look anyway because I think that will be fun.
yeah.
You guys are more put together in real life than you think.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But I'm probably still gonna believe that we're just a massive train wreck waiting to happen.
That's fine.
uh, okay, chat time. Yeah, that's it. Masked Panda said clothing is an issue for us. We have so many clothes we don't want to get rid of because just one of us likes it. That's so true. We have a yellow shirt that none of us have worn. That is Amber's shirt. We got the shirt, we looked at it. Amber in our head was like, "That's mine now," and Amber like never fronts. So we're like, we have this shirt. All of us are kind of ambivalent about it, and then Amber's like, "You cannot get rid of that shirt." Because everyone's allowed to have a couple items that they claim that the other system members can't get rid of, and that's the yellow shirt. So yeah.
Ugh.
Hmm. Yeah. How is Archer today?
He's good. He's very lovey today.
Good.
Um, he was hanging out downstairs, because he decided that downstairs is the best place right now, not our room.
Oh.
Probably because it's getting warmer and our room isn't the warmest room in the house.
Oh yeah.
Um, so I went down there and he started talking to me,
Hmm.
and he hung out with me while I ate, and then I went back up here. He's probably hanging out with Mads right now.
Oh good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just a little bit. Pointer. The mic sometimes does the rustly thing every now and then.
yours is doing that too every once in a
Oh
while.
no. Okay. I'll like pin it over here with our leg. There we go. Hmm.
How's
Yeah.
house hunting going? House hunting is going okay. We can't we can't seriously look at anything yet because we don't have a job right now. So we couldn't like apply for a mortgage or anything.
Mhm.
But things are really falling into place.
Good. Have you ran any of the houses past Mads? Because I know we like sat down and looked at a whole bunch of houses with you guys.
Yes, we showed
Hmm.
them a few of those ones.
Hmm.
Um, we showed them. I know that we showed them the one that I really liked, the like cottage-looking one.
With all like the darker bars on the tan background.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That one's
We also hmm?
really cute. That's a really cute one.
Yeah. We also talked about getting like a bunch of fruit trees for the backyard, having like a little orchard for ourselves.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the dream to grow up and live in a house with no lawn and just a whole bunch of fruit bushes.
God, for real.
Yeah. I keep thinking about that house with two sunrooms and the arched
Yeah.
doorways. I know you're probably not gonna go with that house because it was on the higher end of like the budget range, but like
Yeah, it was a bit much for us, but
it.
it was a nice house. Was that
Mhm.
like 6 bed, 4 bath? Was that one?
I don't know if it was the 6 bed, 4 bath. I think it was like a 5 bed, 4 bath one.
Yeah, it was something
There's
something very big.
yeah. Yeah. Let me look at the chat. Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot
Come in.
of cat chatter.
Hell yeah, cat chat.
Yeah, cat chat. I miss my kitties. They're good. They're good boys. But like,
Mm.
we just have to accept that they, at the end of the day, are our mom's cats. And even though I love them very, very much, I will only get to see them every now and then, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, love the kitties. Yay. Cats are so good. Cats are the best emotional support animals.
They are. They're
Sna-
very cuddly.
yeah, snails are a good second option.
Archie will sometimes hang out with us while we do therapy.
Good. Yeah, because I actually I know like at one point you were talking about having therapy and then you put your face in your cat. So where someone
Yeah,
did.
Sunny put their
Mhm.
face directly in Archie's fur. And then we were sneezing and and wheezing the rest of the day.
Yeah. Are you guys allergic to cats?
Yeah,
Yeah. So are we.
yeah.
Yeah. And then we just like go out and like put our face in the cat anyways.
You gotta.
You just gotta. Yeah. And like hypoallergenic cats are so expensive unless you can rescue them. But like that's very rare to find a rescue Bengal or Siberian. I think those are the two.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I think hypoallergenic cats, there's like something with them where it's like if you're incredibly allergic to cats, it's still gonna bother you.
Yeah, because our two cats are Bengal cats. One of them's a rescue, and then one of them is a retired breeder. Um, and the thing about those cats is they have less protein in their saliva, but it's not all gone.
Mm.
Um, the Siberian cats, I think, have no protein in their saliva, but because your cat allergies, you're allergic to the saliva, you're allergic to their spit, and that's why the hair is allergic because they lick all their hair and all their fur, and then all the spit gets all over the hair, and then the hair goes everywhere, and you're allergic to, yeah, and on it goes.
Mm.
But we can stick our face in Taboo, who is the 100% Bengal, and no reaction.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, she's very good. Whether she'll let us do that or not, on the other hand, is a different question. Yeah,
She's very cute.
she's very good. I love her so very much. There's so much cats in the chat. I have to go look at all the cats. Oh, so Binary Snow says our floof girl thinks she's a service animal, but she'd never pass the test. LOL. Doesn't stop her from trying to task though. That's so good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bengals. They're very good. Yeah, cats are good.
A couple of people are talking about light sensitivity in response to like the sunroom talk. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Claudia has really bad light sensitivity. Like, if she is outside in the daytime and is even a little sunny, she needs sunglasses. Otherwise, she gets really bad headaches.
Yeah. We're just like, our girlfriend jokingly calls us a lizard because if there's a sunspot, we will go lie down in it. Yeah.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Allergy medicine plus cats is also very good. It also depends. There's some talking about bagels. It also depends what type of bagel you get, because we have two different types of bagels. Taboo is a rescue, so she's like true bagel, but she's cheated, so her entire body is black, which is like the undesirable coat. So she just got chucked off into Craigslist or something. We don't know her backstory, but we rescued her as an adult. But the other boy, Max, he's a retired breeder, but he's like a sealing Spangle, which is like a pretty white coat. But he has some Siamese in him, which means that we're more allergic to him. So once we got him, because he came 2 years after Taboo, we actually started getting some allergy symptoms because
No.
he's not like 100% Bengal, and also the male cats produce more of the protein than female cats for
Hmm.
some reason. But it's still like not bad. Like we're still like can exist totally fine at home, and only every now and then we have to take allergy medicine. Um, but they're two very good kitties.
Very good.
Yeah. Mhm.
I'm feeling like so blendy right now.
Yeah. And like the anxiety is slowly starting to wear off, so I can feel it a little bit. Yeah. Anxiety is a very powerful push someone to the front in this
What was it
brain.
you were saying in when you were asking or answering Tumblr asks the other day? If your front stuck, just talk to another system.
Yeah. we if you just talk to another system, you just start switching. It's like one system switches and then the next system switches and then the next system switches. I mean, at the plural trans Philly trans, it's the plural trans conference now. Last summer, for those who don't know, every year in Philadelphia, there's like the largest like Philly trans health conference. There's a lovely system that goes and gives a presentation each year, and then there's a caucus of like 30 to 40 systems that attend and then hang out for like hours afterwards. And we went last summer, and they had we set up like a couple tables. There was like about different conversations, and then there was a littles table, and the second the littles table was announced, half the room switched in one go and ran over to the littles table. And yeah, especially if one little comes out, all the littles come out.
So cute.
So it was like one of the best moments, just to like watch that. We like held on for like 15 minutes, and then Iris switched. Yeah, I think Lily was out at the time. I'm gonna check.
Someone says, I think there's a sense of safety talking to other systems that makes switches easier. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially like watching other systems switch and like normalizing it in the space, I think just like does something in our brain and goes, it's okay to switch in this space. It's okay to be plural and exist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like we talk about that a lot with the redwoods. Just like
Mm-hmm.
listening to them switch like that just opens it up in our mind.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Someone asked, is this stream little safe?
Is this stream little safe? I'd assume so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say this stream is little safe.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to get anywhere past like PG-13, maybe.
I think I have too much anxiety to get past PG-13 on our first stream. Yeah. Yeah. Hi, it's Sandra, and that is a good question. I think it's silver.
I think hi Sandra and question mark is probably pretty accurate.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. Hi, Sandra, and question mark. It's question mark. How are you doing today? Oh,
That's a good suggestion for silver one question mark. It's right up there with backslash.
And Scream number 2.
Yeah.
Except that would be Diane. But, anyways, Masked Panda asks, have y'all ever had it where multiple people are front stuck? Right now we think I'm the only one who is stuck, but we have had points where it's 5 people.
Like everyone's co-con front stuck? Because I don't think we've had that.
I see the rabbles in the chat. It's not allowed.
What?
Sorry, someone put an inside joke in the chat, and
Okay.
I see it with my eyeballs. But yeah, I don't know if we've ever been like multiple people front stuck at a time. We've definitely had multiple people front for extended amount of times, but I don't know if like everyone's stuck at once, because at least for us it feels like a statistical anomaly to have a whole bunch of people stuck, because like the statistics of one person being stuck has to be multiplied by the statistics of another person being stuck, plus multiplied by another, and etc. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. It's kind of like how like in Minecraft, how when you throw an egg, there's a 1 in 8 chance of getting a chicken.
Mm-hmm.
It's like throwing a bunch of eggs.
Yeah.
It's like 1.5 times 8.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But like, and especially if it's your experience, then it's like hella valid. My brain is like, yeah, that probably happens, but I can't remember a time it's happened to us specifically. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that we've experienced that comes close to that is like um we have like, I don't know, our communication kind of goes in like interconnected webs. So it's like this group of people can talk to each other pretty well, and this group of people can talk to each other pretty well, and there's like some overlap. Um, but so it's like one group could be prominently front stuck for a while, or like it's just them fronting for a while, but not like multiple people at the same time.
Yeah, that makes sense. There is a question of, does anyone have any recommendation for movies with littles or little safe? Our favorite ones are the Ghibli movies, so like My Neighbor Totoro, Kiki's Delivery Service. That I think they all got put on Netflix, but those are definitely a favorite for littles nights.
Anything Muppets for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, love you, sweetie. Have fun.
We love Mads. Yeah. Okay, there's a couple questions in the chat. There's a question of, does anyone else have a system without any littles? Not any of the 2 of our systems, but we've definitely gotten asks about that before. So you're not alone in that. So in the community, we've definitely heard of other systems, and we've chatted with other systems that don't have littles. Mm-hmm.
In our Q&A, someone asked like, if we don't have littles, are we valid or whatever? And we were like, yep, it's not mandatory.
Yeah. It's one of those things where like I feel like there's a lot of things in the community that are talked about so often, it feels like it's necessary to be a system. Like things like fictives or caretakers or protectors, or like anything that's part of a system, but like in reality none of those things are worked into the DSM criteria. Yeah, at the end of the day, like unless it's a DSM criteria, you can still get diagnosed.
Yep.
It's just like a common system thing, and it's totally okay to have uncommon system experiences. You're just still totally as valid as everyone else. Yeah. Someone says Kung Fu Panda is amazing for our littles, and I definitely agree. We haven't watched that in like probably 10 years, and we've been wanting to rewatch it again. Yeah.
Someone asks, is there a good technique for stopping rapid switches? We had it really bad last week at therapy. Grounding is my go-to answer.
Hmm. Yeah. Grounding is your best friend. With like DIDOSC, it's just your best friend. um, just like gentle things. Our therapist introduced a new one to us that we really enjoy, which is how many yellow things are in the room. So like count the amount of yellow objects that you can physically see. Or if there's no yellow objects, pick like blue objects or orange objects, but it like makes you focus on the space that you're in kind of like a game sort of way.
Mhm.
So like you gotta actually figure things out and like interact in that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the similar one we do is like name 5 things you can see, 4 things that you can hear, 3 things you can touch, and 2 things you can smell.
Hmm.
And it gets all your senses kind of working.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm trying to think of the other because we have like a resource for supporting someone with the idea in OCD, and we have like 2 slides on just grounding. Um, I'm like mentally going through them. Also, just like identity based grounding. I don't know how helpful it would be when you're rapid switching. Um, but things like what what kinds of things do you like, what hobbies do you engage with, what feels good to you right now, paying attention to how your body is situated and oriented. um, Things like, just a quick trigger warning for food, things like, do you like hot chocolate or tea, or like what do you like to eat, or what feels good to you right now. Do you like to be in blankets or out of blankets? Yeah, small
Yeah,
things like that. Okay, I'm gonna go look at the chat. There's a lot of questions and comments that we could talk about.
heck yeah,
Yeah. I don't Are you guys looking at the chat?
a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. Someone mentioned square breathing, which is really good. Um we enjoy square breathing. That's like breathing in for 4 seconds, holding it for 4 seconds, breathing out for 4 seconds, holding that for 4 seconds, then breathing in and going around that square.
Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's very good.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna go up and find some comments to talk about because my anxiety is like, we must talk all the time. um, Someone says, I finally got proof that I'm a system, but the more proof I get, the more I seem to deny it. Anyone else got this problem? Um,
You're valid.
you're valid. Yeah. I feel like the denying it spirals definitely can last for like years and years and feel different for everyone. And yeah.
Yeah. Um, it is more than understandable to not be able to like admit it to yourself, at least on some level.
Mm-hmm.
Someone in the chat said it's such an unbelievable quote unquote disorder that even with exact proof, it's easy to doubt yourself, and that's exactly correct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like, even if you have all the proof in the world and you have a panel of 15 specialists that all say you got it, your brain's still gonna find ways to be like, you're faking it. Because this disorder is built to be a covert disorder even for yourself. So like it comes from this mechanism of like, if I deny my alters, then I won't remember that trauma happened and we will continue to have a stable life. Like that subconscious process is going on in your brain. Um, and yeah, so feeling like you're fake is never an indication that you are actually fake because it's like literally in the DSM, I think, like that people with DID and OCD have huge invalidation issues. And yeah. Mm-hmm. There's a couple more. I know there's one we missed further up, so I'm gonna grab that one first. Um, do y'all slash anyone in chat have any advice for questioning systems where it feels like one person is long-term front stuck and has little to no communication with others? I can elaborate if need be. I mean, something we always talk about is that not a lot of people know that there's variations of OSDD1, which is when you meet both the criteria for dash 1A and dash 1B, where you never switch. So regardless of how often you switch or how long someone is
Mhm.
front stuck, your system can still be valid. That's not a requirement. Um, I don't know if I have any other immediate thoughts.
That's all I got.
Yeah. I feel like we're and this feels very reminiscent of when we call late at night and just answer Tumblr asks for like an hour straight.
Yeah, these
Yeah.
are 2 hour or
Hmm.
2 a.m. rather. Tumblr asks calls. Let me go grab my Switch and I'll play Celeste.
Yeah, I need to like move over to the couch and like be under 2 more layers of blankets to fully emulate that experience, but yeah. Anyways, we have a longer comment. Where did it go? Hi y'all. I had a question, if that's okay. Is there a correlation between the strength of an author's presence in the headspace and the trauma that they hold?
I
I
don't think so.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you mean like strength as in like physical strength of like having a really buff alter or like how strongly you can feel them in the back of your head. But I don't think either one has a correlation. I mean,
If that's true, then poor Audrey because she's just absolutely ripped in Headspace.
yeah. Oh.
I think the biggest counter I can give to that is the idea of like the apparently normal part, even if that's not accurate. Um,
Mhm.
but the idea of parts that don't hold trauma or don't hold like significant trauma that front all the time, or that are essentially in charge of like daily living.
Yeah. And we have a whole bunch of like non-traumatized parts that are ew, I just said the word non-traumatized parts. Ugh. Okay. Anyways, we have a lot of people who don't hold trauma. That makes me feel a lot more comfortable and makes us feel a lot more comfortable.
Yeah.
But there's a whole bunch of us that don't hold trauma that are still active in daily life, and there's a whole bunch of us who don't hold trauma that are less active. So at least within our system, there's no real correlation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. We have a how would y'all come out to people about being a system? We have friends who we want to have watch our channel, but also some of us want to bring some stuff slash toys back to the dorm for comfort and want people to know why we are doing so. My brain isn't registering that whole sentence, but I think I can give some advice on how to come out to people about being a system. How is your brain doing? My brain is suddenly off in the void.
My brain's around. I've been yawning a lot, and I don't know why.
Mm-hmm. Well, our first therapist said that yawning is a sign that your brain is working a lot. And so, because we would always yawn in therapy, and she'd be like, "Oh, that's really good. That means your brain is processing things." But that's kind of stuck with us all the way since then.
So, how would
Anyways,
y'all come out to people about being the system?
I mean, at this point, we just kind of tell them. um, I mean, it's hard. All the people who know are people who are like part of our organizations that we're already out to. So they like enter the space with us already being out to people in those spaces. And like I'm also a victim of like I was supposed to tell two of my roommates last summer that we were a system, and then I never did for the entire summer. So I feel
Yeah.
like I need some advice on how to tell other people that we're a system, but
It's so much easier to come out to people that are like basically strangers to you than it is
mhm,
to come out to people that you like and respect.
mhm,
Um, because like uh I don't know, I feel like there's almost something to lose, you know?
yeah,
And I think I don't know, the best thing I can say is like to explain what you can to them and give them some resources, but
mhm,
also be be wary, I guess. I don't come out to anyone that it might like put you at risk of like, I don't know, being homeless or something. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you feel that it is a risk to like, I don't know, come out to your parents or something, you probably shouldn't do that. I always say that safety goes before comfort in
Mm-hmm.
some ways,
Yeah.
and it's sad, but you know.
On like any issue, whether that's like a trans issue or like a just being gay issue or like any minority, coming being safe in your home is more important than coming out to your parents sometimes, and that's just the sad truth.
Yeah. I always see stuff in relation to coming out that's like I'm finally living my truth or whatever. But it's like I feel the opposite implication is that if you're not out, you're lying. And you're not.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's just
Yeah.
telling anyone it's not their business right now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, regardless of whether you're out or whether you're in the diagnosis phase or you're diagnosed, like you can never change your base existence. You know, it doesn't make you any more valid or less valid or your experience any more or less real. Um, our other tip is to test the waters before you come out to people. Like,
Mm,
be like, oh, hey, I found this YouTuber on YouTube. Look at the content they create. What do you think about it? And if the person goes, oh my god, they're so blah, 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 a whole bunch of ableist stuff, then you know to not tell them that you're experiencing that. And then if they respond really well to that, then you can continue the conversation and be like, oh, and we also experience that. So it's kind of like works doubly like that. Yeah. I mean, that reminds me of the summer again because we were talking about autism with one of our roommates and then he took it very badly and we were like, okay, if you can't even like deal with that, we're just going to like not come out to you for the rest of this month that we're still here with you. So that was fine.
yeah.
Yeah. Remind me to talk to you guys about that roommate for a long time later.
Yes,
That was
I
an
will write.
interesting summer. Um, yeah. Yeah.
Never.
Okay. There's a whole bunch of chats and I'm not sure what they're about.
I'm gonna. Oh,
I'm so confused in the chat. Did I miss something? There's a whole bunch of people referencing. I don't. Hmm. I
um,
don't know what to do. I'm actually.
they're a YouTuber, I guess.
Yes. I'm actually gonna text you guys real quick.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
there we are.
We're here. Mm-hmm.
Ah,
Ah.
she says I ended my stream and told people to come here. How nice.
Oh, nice. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like I have to like go through and find all the questions again. Um. Yeah. Because there's a whole bunch of that, and there was questions up there, and also my brain's like in 15 different directions. Um. Okay.
Your brain basically shuts down when it goes, "What the heck is going on?"
Yeah. Anyways, here's a question. I haven't been diagnosed, but I'm thinking I want to tell my mom about my system with my first therapist because I've been refusing to do that for a while. I just can't imagine her understanding it. I mean, again, this is like something I feel like we can't give advice on very well because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, it's like your decision, and only you can like weigh what's going on in the situation, and like how your parents might take it and the consequences that might happen. So we can't like, I don't know, but just like sending lots of love your way, and if you decide to take that route, I wish you luck and I hope it goes well.
Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay, I think I've caught up with the things from back behind there. Yeah. What's going on? Okay, I'm like catching up on the chat, and I'm like, ah,
So, people from Evangelina's Skull stream, how you doing?
yeah.
You all got any questions?
Mhm. Doot, 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 doot.
Someone says
Okay.
it's their bedtime now in the UK.
Okay.
Thank you
Goodbye,
for dropping
friend.
by.
Thanks for dropping by. Yeah, we have 66 friends here. Okay. Yeah,
Wow.
I'm all caught up on the chat now, so now my brain is done going in 15 different directions. Okay. I think yeah. Mhm. Oh, someone was like, our mom was the easiest to tell because she was part of a now fused system. Um, yeah, that's good.
That's nice.
That's nice. Having
Uh,
having accepting parents who can also relate to you.
yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Someone asked who's fronting right now. It's Sandra on our end, and Silver still there?
Silver question mark.
Silver question mark.
Silver question mark. Probably still silver, like, but I can feel someone close to the front, but in the way that I can't tell who they are. So it's like sometimes I can tell who's coming near the front based on like how our body is positioning itself and like the thought flavor, but there's like too much going on cognitively right now to really like step back and like listen to that and try to figure out who's coming near the front and like have that conversation. So like
Yeah.
there's someone else hanging out. I'm if I had to place a bet, it would probably be one of the other silvers, or Lorianne, or Lily, or Peach. That's my bets, but that's just completely random based on who fronts the most and who would be most excited about this stream. Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, there was a missed question. Patrick Poets, if you want to put it again in the chat, we will answer. Yeah. Or I can maybe try to find it. So much happened.
I think it's one about coming out to your family, except you're in lockdown and it's becoming difficult to hide their plurality.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I have any advice on that one. Good luck.
Again, that's kind of like um, we don't, you know your system best, or you know your situation best and your system best.
Hmm.
And I feel, listen, my safety conscious answer is to say, maybe wait,
Hmm.
because if it goes bad, it's not a great time for that to go bad.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Someone asks whether it's possible to hear alters thoughts when they're not fronting. Yes. It depends on each system and how good your internal communication is. Often that's something you build towards in therapy if you're not good at that already. Um, we've slowly been getting better and better at it, which is like both good and bad because then we
Mhm.
can actually talk to each other more. But now we're slowly opening up doors where we can have consecutive internal arguments with each other. Because we would have arguments before, but they'd be kind of like awkwardly long and drawn out and like sending emotions back and forth and like leaving notes for each other. But like now we can actually like have them talking to each other, which is weird and interesting. And also we don't know how to process that.
Mm.
But yeah. Hmm.
Someone said I told my mother about my system and it actually made her realize that she's also a system. It was like that Spider-Man meme.
Yeah.
We've told you guys a similar thing with us, except they haven't realized it yet.
Hmm.
Or we suspect that they're a system.
Yeah. I mean, just like any other mental health thing or queer folk, you tend to clump together with other people who are similar to you. Whether that's like autistic people seeking out autistic people, queer folk seeking out other queer folk, or like plural systems seeking out other plural systems. We tend to like find each other implicitly. I think my best example is like in high school, we had a friend group of a whole bunch of people who thought we were all straight. And then come to college, we all start texting each other, and turns out there was like at least 7 or 8 people who were asexual, and the rest of us were some flavor of queer. So like we literally collected all of the asexual people in the high school and shoved them together in one friend group without realizing what was going on. And without realizing that for ourselves. It was really funny. Um, but yeah,
Someone asked, is it normal that in your imagination alters can change a little bit their appearance?
I mean, yes? Question mark. I don't know if I have any real thoughts on this one. This feels like I'd have to think about it for 5 minutes to think of like talking to someone else about this.
I think that in our experience, as alters figure out more about themselves, their image will sort of either change or solidify
Mm-hmm.
um, to just something that feels more appropriate or more comfortable to them.
Yeah.
Like Claudia
Mm-hmm.
was, this is such a very minor
Oh
appearance thing,
no,
but she
it's
was,
it's doing the loading thing.
oh no,
Oh, is it back? Because I'm watching the stream on this computer too, so I can tell when it's glitchy. Um, I think it's going a little slow, so let's just wait for it to catch up.
mm-hmm.
I'm my brain was like, "Ooh, let's try to put on the volume and see if it's going well." But like that would be bad. I'm
That
gonna
would be pretty
I'm
bad.
gonna look on the stream page. Error, YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Um Open widget. Let's see what happens. Okay, so it just started up recently, like this minute. I don't know what's going on.
Can you all hear us okay?
Yeah,
And see us okay?
we can hear. Oh, you're saying that to the chat probably.
Yeah, chat.
Mhm.
I'm gonna type.
Is the stream okay?
Seems to be live from here. Or is
Oh.
this frozen? Lagging?
Mhm.
Audio wise, yes. Visual wise, it's like, yeah, that's okay.
Okay. Hopefully I'll check the boy again. Yeah, it still says not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. I don't know why. Hmm.
If they can hear us, the video will pick back up.
Yeah, she probably will. If not, we can always restart OBS in the background. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. If okay. Okay, well I hope Rue who had to go, I hope you have a good day. Yeah.
So I was saying the minor change with Claudia is that she was more goth than punk in the beginning internally,
Mhm.
and she's just sort of, I don't know, found herself a little more and solidified that image a bit more.
Mhm. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Okay. Also, someone up there once talked about how I think it was the Gorgon system, talked about how their mom was struggling to understand that you don't want to fuse or you don't want to integrate.
Hmm.
If you go to traumadissociation.com and go to their healthy multiplicity section, there's actually statistics that show that 2/3 of systems choose healthy multiplicity and choose to not integrate. So that might actually help get her on board. That there's like academic literature that shows the majority of systems actually don't want that. Um, that's something we found just like a neat little gem in academia.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Video, at least on this computer, seems to be back up, but hopefully it's okay. Yeah. Oh, good. Oh, here's one for you guys to answer.
Oh,
How do I deal with my alters not wanting to do different things? We tend to fight over what we want and get stuck going back and forth.
You need to all respect each other's time.
Yeah. Mhm.
Like, my incredibly useless advice is figure it out.
Mhm.
Like, you all deserve to have your own hobbies and your own time in the front if you want it, and you all need to respect each other's desires for that as long as it's not hurting the body or hurting other people.
Mhm.
um I think just getting better with communication, not in terms of necessarily like internal or external communication, but more interpersonal communication, where it's like, hey, can I have like a couple of hours to do this afternoon, or can we do this at some point this week, or I need to do this at some point this week, and just figuring out from there. Get a schedule or something, Google Calendar. uh
Mhm.
it's never going to be perfect, and no one is unfortunately ever going to get to do every little thing that they want to do, but eventually it'll kind of work itself into a rhythm, I think.
Mhm. Communication and compromise is probably like one of the hardest. I don't want to say like DID OCD things because obviously trauma is harder, but like just in terms of like plurality, that's the hardest thing that comes with just existing multiple in a body. Figuring out how to divvy up the time and how to divvy up your life. And a lot of
Yeah,
systems do it differently, and that's yeah.
I think in our interview with Jade Miller, we were talking about how a large part, if not the largest part of working of like system stuff, is just conflict resolution.
Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. There's someone who asks, how do I tell if I'm just simulating DID from what I've seen on YouTube, or if my experiences are something else misinterpreted? I feel like your entire video tomorrow is just going to be talking about this. Um,
Sort of, yeah.
yeah.
It's our video tomorrow is going to be about like, what if I don't have DID? Um Basically the short answer is, um if the short answer is no system is exactly the same. So if you are feeling invalidated because, oh, there's a lot of details here. Don't feel like I dissociate enough, that happens. Um and I just experience passive influence when I'm thinking about that alter. I don't think I've ever fully switched apart from maybe as a little kid. Um, I mean, there's there's OSDD 1, which is like apart from A and B, and what I'm gonna say is that unless you sat down and intentionally like decided to fake, then you're not faking, and you're probably not simulating DID because you've seen other people with DID. Iatrogenic uh, origins for systems are not real. Um,
Hmm.
Contrary to whatever articles from like, 10, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, you may have read or may have heard about, um, it is not possible, according to scientific research,
Hmm.
that says that someone else can make you think that you're a system by like saying that you're a system.
Yeah, there was a recent really big meta analysis. And for those of you who don't know what meta analysis is, it's basically they take a whole bunch of studies and then do a study on the studies. So it's like cumulative research over years and years and years that goes into a meta analysis. So there was a meta analysis done in 2016 that basically disproved iatrogenic DID. And iatrogenic DID is therapy caused DID. So the myth that like therapists can induce DID within someone. So that was practically disproven. Yeah. So you don't make things up. Um, or no, my words aren't working. But like basically whatever Alexandrite system said, you can't. Other people can't convince you that you have DID or like make you have DID. Your experience is on a base level of lived experience, like without labels, without trying to fit it in any boxes. Whatever you experience, like your feelings and your like emotions and whatever dissociation and whatever you experience, that's all real without any labels. And from that point, all you can do is accidentally mislabel it. And often that's in any diagnosis process, whether that's a self-diagnosis process or a professional diagnosis process, there's a high likelihood that it's going to be mislabeled at some point. And that's okay. It's part of the growth process and it's part of figuring things out. Um, yeah, that's our thoughts on it.
I have two additional things about this. One, about experiencing passive influence when you're thinking about that alter. The Ring System did a video
Yeah.
on the cocktail party effect,
Hmm.
where if you think about an alter, it might actually like bring them to the front.
Hmm.
And also, Vagelina Skov, I'm very sorry if I say your name incorrectly, um, asked, is the DES actually used by professionals or are they sort of a guide? I took it and got a score of 52, but I don't have DID or OSDD. Um, so it's a guide, and all of
Hmm.
those tests are basically a guide. The MID, the DES, they give therapists a or other psych professionals a starting point, but it's not like the be all end all. When we took the multidimensional index of dissociation the first time, we got um, we got flagged as like one or two subtle signs of DID, but I think our two axes were PTSD and borderline, which we're not borderline as far as I know. And it's it's not a great thing. We're gonna do a whole video on why we hate the mid so much. Um, but yeah, they're just guides. Our therapist has straight up said that she doesn't like them and she doesn't like using them.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah,
Yeah. Um, like I also think because our therapist gave us the option of taking two different inventories, and neither of them were the DES. So we've taken the DES years ago on our own time, but it's never actually been used by any of our specialists that we've gone and seen. Um, I don't remember the names of them, but there was a shorter inventory and a longer inventory, and the questions were very different. They talked a lot about specific things relating to DID. And then I remember we don't talk about it too often, but we saw the really shitty specialist that said DID didn't exist, and we filled out like at least 5 different forms for that one. Um, but I don't remember what those are because that was years ago. Um, anyways, yeah.
binary stenosis. We used to think that we were 1A because we didn't have quote unquote enough switches, but turned out we were just unaware of how often we switched because of fragments. That's another thing. Yeah, you might be switching and not realizing it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. It's also like a really big OSDD trait to switch and not realize it. There's like academic sources that say that OSDD systems struggle much more with internal communication and recognizing switches. Um, and we're eventually going to do videos on those two things, but we've definitely found that true in our life. I mean, we recently talked about how there was 5 people thinking they were silver, and we just figured this out like literally months and months and months into all of our existence. So
Yeah.
yeah.
We've got a couple of Sandras waking up in the Matrix right now.
Mm-hmm. We've talked about this with our DID friends and a little bit with our therapists, and it's the basic outline for what we're probably going to talk about in the video. Definitely do watch it when we make it because whatever we put out will be put much more well worded than whatever we say right now. But like with DID systems, when you have full amnesia between everyone and you have your own very clearly defined set of memories, it's much more easier to track those and to be able to figure out who you are. But with OSCD 1B systems, where we all share a collective set of memories and a collective like blobbiness, it can be hard to like figure out who you are compared to everyone else, especially because you often have to sit down and look at your memories and be like, what memories do I relate with? Do I actually feel the same person as I was 5 minutes ago? Because especially if you're going around and like, I don't know, cooking or gardening or doing some monotonous task where you're lost in your thoughts, you don't think about your memories too often just on a day-to-day life. I think about that a lot, just like how we don't realize things because we're not thinking about who we are in the moment. There's a lot of like neurotypical or system. There's a lot of moments where you're just like doing something and you're happy and you're vibing with doing that thing and you don't think about your memories or your identity. And because of those, especially with OSDD 1B systems, we can very superficially gloss over the fact that we've switched when we don't have those amnesia blocks.
I will say even amnesia can be real sneaky because it's not always like it's not like in Sybil where you it's not always like in Sybil rather where you like black out and wake up somewhere else
Mm-hmm.
a time later. It sometimes your brain just kind of like papers over that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
It's like you were at work. Don't you remember?
yeah, work, whatever. I mean, we were just talking about earlier trying to go back through our day, and there's like a block of time before we cooked lunch and after we woke up that's like blurry and fuzzy, and it's just like, oh, do. You totally remember this. It's all fine. Don't think
Yeah.
about it too hard. Um, and I mean, there's definitely been times where we've texted you guys, looked back on the text later, and you've been, "Are you sure this is Silver?" And like Silver has looked back on the texts and been like, "Haha, I don't remember that." um, so switches happen without you realizing all the time.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I like the metaphor of it like papers over the memories.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good analogy. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything new in the comments to chat about, or I don't know what's coming up next.
Um I sometimes think that when I think about an alter I feel them but since I'm diagnosed, I'm like, I'm making this up, and yeah, the cocktail effect again. Um,
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah, Gorgon system says it was really hard for me to notice I was losing time before I started tracking it. Yeah.
Hmm. Yep.
Um, someone asked us in our Q&A if if we switch more or if our symptoms got worse once we realized that we were a system.
Hmm.
And the answer is maybe because it's potentially that we were having all those experiences, but we didn't have like a name for it. And like now we can notice it because like it was pointed out to us basically.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's a phenomenon that happens in practically everything. Like, our favorite example of it is that um, autism diagnoses back before they like knew what autism was were kind of very slow and kind of going like this. But then they put it in the DSM, they carefully outlined it, and the amount of autism diagnosis shot up because suddenly therapists realized what was going on, could recognize it, and then that meant that people were actually getting diagnosed instead of having their symptoms go unrecognized. And so that's why you'll see all these like anti-vax moms being like, "Oh my god, it was the vaccines and spiked at the same time." Like, no, it's just there's criteria now that was put in the DSM at that exact same time, and people started recognizing it. And that recognition leading to a spike in whatever was going on is common among literally every phenomena, like anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Is that what's the phenomenon where it's like when you learn about something you start seeing it everywhere? Is that the Bader Meinhof effect?
I
Yeah, I'll
don't
look that
know.
up.
I mean, whenever I think about it, the example we use is from the book called Neurotribes. It's about the autism diagnosis. We're not really a fan of that book, but it is informational. Um, anyways, we could just go on a whole rant about that book because we wrote like literally a 4-page paper on how it was like mislabeling what it was writing about. But yeah. Um,
Nope, Bader Meinhof effect is a cognitive bias,
hmm,
I think.
yeah.
Anyway,
Okay. Yeah.
I'll think of whatever it is later.
Mhm. There's a whole bunch of things, but my brain is not registering them. So I'm reading them and they're going right through the back of my head.
My system has had multiple integrations in a short period of time. Is that normal? We've only known your system for about a month.
I mean, I don't think there's a system normal.
Yep.
Yeah.
If that's your experience, then it is
Hmm.
your normal.
Yeah. As long as you fit the criteria, you still can be diagnosed. Like, again, winding all the way back to when we talked about that earlier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yep. There's, oh gosh, I just can't read. I'm dissociating.
Want me to
um,
read?
yeah, sure.
I used to attribute losing time to being distracted due to ADHD, things are depression, memory loss. Why not both? Um, I've personally questioned that, to be honest, we're most likely DID, but I found we relate more to OSTD because of our polyfragmentation. Not, oh, that was in relation to someone asking, is there a connection between polyfragmentation and OSTD 1B? Um, oh, just asking because when we were describing the challenges of it, it sounded similar.
I don't
I
know.
don't know. Yeah.
Like, my gut feeling says I've met polyfragmented OSTD1B systems, but I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Scribblers, I think, are polyfrag OSTD
Oh,
1B.
fancy.
Or I'm
Yeah.
not sure if they identify as 1B, but I think that theoretically they would qualify for 1B.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um,
I feel I don't know. I feel like my gut is like say it's like I don't know if there's any direct ties, but it's two things that produce similar experiences. But I don't know how you like I don't know if there's ties between being OCD and polyfragmentation versus like having a whole bunch of fragments sometimes feels like similar to the experience of like not having direct amnesia between your alters. And
yeah,
they produce similar problems sometimes.
yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
You know what I just realized?
What?
I think the holiday sock system is the 1B polyfrag.
Oh. Yeah.
Because if you have a subsystem, that's polyfrag, yeah?
I I think so. I mean, the definition of polyfragmented like shifts around a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's either like you have over 100 alters or you have a subsystem. Um, so like technically if we considered the silvers to be a subsystem, which we don't, we could be polyfrag. But we don't consider us a subsystem. So we're a
yeah.
subsystem in that like we've all been engaged in the life in a similar way, but like, you know, there's a lot of more questions. Um, Someone says, can repressed memories be like emotionally based? Like my trauma didn't feel like it was that bad till I had flashbacks about them. Absolutely. Like that's the whole point of our brain trying to make sure that our trauma does not interfere with our daily life.
That's 1B, baby.
Yeah. I mean, I remember like super shitty specialist that we saw, like the one that I hate. If I ever say super shitty specialist, it's the guy that told us that DID didn't exist and that dissociative disorders didn't exist and that because we were so smart we couldn't have DID and we were just extrapolating off of some minor trauma experiences. That's the shitty specialist. But I remember
Of
him.
course, he's a guy.
Yeah, of course he's a guy. Which was really funny because he was training under a wonderful woman who we saw later. And she was great and absolutely wonderful, but like I don't know how his training created that. I'm just like, why do you exist? But anyways, I remember him telling us that we couldn't be traumatized because we were just repeating some facts about our trauma, so like deadpan. Um, and the thing is, we can just do that because we're so absolutely emotionally cut off from it, and it's a defense mechanism to try to be like, it's not impacting our daily life. If we can't feel emotions about it, it won't impact us, and therefore we're able to continue on. That's what this disorder does. Um, which is like for some my brain is like you're asserting your dominance over literally a specialist and I'm like this literal specialist denied that a whole subset of disorders existed. Like I think I can say I know a little bit more than him.
How do you deny that, like,
I don't know.
dissociation is a thing?
I
Like,
don't
that's a thing.
I don't think he was denying that dissociation existed. I think he was saying all dissociative disorders are just dissociation that's tied into PTSD and that those disorders don't exist. It's all just the extrapolation of PTSD and people making stuff up. It was really weird. I mean, he also like totally broke confidentiality in multiple ways and
Oh,
did like some highly illegal things, but like we're
We
done with.
love to break HIPAA.
We love to break HIPAA. Yeah, we do. um, but anyways, away from our rant, I can feel Aaron squishing in on the edges, like, because I'm noticing how we're talking a little bit differently. But anyways, I'm gonna catch up on the chat now. There was another question about flashbacks. What do flashbacks over repressed memories feel like? We've had like one or two of them. It's like you have a flashback and the second it ends, you don't remember anything about what it was about. That's our experience, at least. That's how we've heard it talked about by other people as well.
I'm not sure if this counts as a flashback, but there was this one thing where we remembered something so vividly that we thought we were like there again. Like we were at work and it hit us, and like I don't know how much time passed, but we were just like standing there and then had to remember where we were again.
Yeah. The person who asked this question also asks, I can't tell if I'm having flashbacks over repressed memories or just really spiked anxiety and stuff. And my advice to any of these types of questions is that sometimes it doesn't really matter. What matters in this moment is finding coping mechanisms that can help you afterwards and to help you at least stabilize after those experiences and return back to life. Because at the end of the day, you can't, if you're having flashbacks, you can't really fix that without going to a trauma therapist and working through it with a trauma therapist. So whether or not they're happening or you're just having anxiety spikes, what matters is finding the coping mechanisms to really like work through and help with that. I don't know. That's our opinion.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. Also, Strawberry says they're OSCD1B, and I did not know that, and I've known them for years. How did I not know you guys were an OSCD1B system? Um,
And there you have it.
and there you have it. Uh, textbook. Yeah. Someone asked, has our girlfriend always known about our system? They actually knew about our system before we started being good friends, and I just heard them sneeze in the background. um, because we met through one of the mental health advocacy programs that we now help co-facilitate. So we have been out. Oh, hi, love. What's up? Yeah, I'm still using your computer. I'm sorry. Okay, I love you. No, but we met through one of the mental health advocacy programs. Um, sorry, my brain just got totally thrown out. We're using our girlfriend's computer because our computer cannot handle this whole setup that's going on right now.
Big gay hours over here.
It is big gay hours. But we met through a mental health advocacy program, and we were out about being a system in that space before we met them. So they have always known, and we were friends with each other based on pluralness. And then, I mean, they're not a system, but they, even in our friendship before we were together, they knew we were a system. So it's always been a fundamental they've known. Yeah.
Plastic Dinosaur System, which is a fantastic system name, by the way,
It is.
says my favorite game is this a flashback or just a spicy memory, which is amazing.
Yeah. I mean, is there a true line between those? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, a
with
flashback is just an incredibly spicy memory.
especially with all the mix-ins and autism, sometimes it's hard for us to tell the difference. Yeah. Abby says I have a hard time communicating with other alters as the host, and I was wondering if there's a way to help. Just our advice is always to do check-ins every day, like sit down every day and take a little bit of time to just like, even if you don't get a response, just like yell into the back of your head and like talk to people or something or the void, because more often than you realize, people are listening, even if you can't hear things back. And after a couple weeks of that, sometimes it gets better, but like no guarantees, and it's like a long process. Yeah.
Someone said they have to go and read Of Mice and Men. Of Mice and Men slaps.
We have not read it. Yeah.
That's one of the few books I liked in school.
Oh, valid. Okay. Big gay hours. It is always big gay hours. To continue the big gay hours, we have to set a end point on this because our girlfriend probably wants to start doing homework again. It's like low-key finals season, and I don't want to keep them away from their programming for too long. Yeah.
That's incredibly valid.
We offered to let them use our computer while we were streaming on their laptop, and they were like, I don't know what it was, but they were like, I don't think we can download a whole like Linux operating system to code on your computer within 30 minutes. I'm like, okay, I don't know what that means, and you're valid.
God, they use Linux.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand what's going on with them in coding ever. I know they have like fancy colored text. That's it. They can probably hear us talking about her. Oh well. Yeah. Anyways,
Let me see.
let me see. I don't see any. Yeah, there's a couple comments on that on the bad therapist TM. Yeah, he was just a bad therapist TM. They exist, and it's
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. I don't really have any comments on that. Yeah. We're definitely behind on our final schedule, but that's okay. There are larger things happening right now, and we can take little a break as a treat,
Exactly.
and little a break over and over again as a treat. Yeah. I don't know. Hmm. I'm vibing. For those who can't see, I set up some lovely fairy lights, and they are above me, and I'm very happy with them. I just wanted to show them off real quick in the lull in conversation. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if there's too much else to chat about. It's been
Any
fun.
other questions while we kind of like wrap up?
Mm-hmm. Oh, any funny stories about your system? Oh, but before any funny stories about your system, there's someone who says, I'm assuming they're referring to the bad therapist. That's precisely why I'm scared. Um, I mean, that's definitely a real reason to be scared. And I think our biggest advice is like recognizing that when these therapists exist and when they deny an entire class of disorders that are in the DSM and have been shown to like literally have brain differences, it's not about you or your validity. It's about them thinking that they are correct and thinking that they can fit patients within boxes that aren't also correct. Um, our biggest our biggest advice, we did a whole video on this. If you look on our channel, there's a video about how to talk to therapists about having DID for the first time and red flags in therapists. The takeaway from that video is like, it's okay if you walk into those sessions and if your symptoms are dismissed or if the therapist is just totally shitty, to just walk right back out the door halfway through the session and find someone else. At the end of the day, therapy is a service for you, and there will be bad providers. Um, something our mother says a lot is that when it comes to any form of doctor, whether this is general practitioners or therapists, you never know who graduated at the top of their class and who graduated at the bottom of their class, just barely skimming past with a C and does not know what they're talking about. And the thing is, after everyone graduates medical school, everyone gets the same license, um, and everyone gets the same degree. And so you can't tell the difference between those two, and you don't know who you're going to and who actually knows what they're talking about and who doesn't, because there's definitely people who don't know what they're talking about. So when you engage with any sort of medical thing, whether that's general practitioners or therapists or dentists or anything, you have to be careful and actively like analyze your first couple sessions with people to make sure that they, one, are actually good at what they're doing, and two, are a good match for you. Like, in any field of medicine, whether that's therapy or general practitioners, there's gonna be shitty practitioners. Um, like I think about my mother tells this story over and over again about how in college she and our dad were going to a dentist recommended by their friend, and this dentist, long story short, was um, falsely giving diagnoses of cavities to get more money out of their their clients, which is like incredibly illegal and horrible. Like my mother literally went to this dude. The dude was like, "Oh, you have three cavities," and she was like, "What the heck? I never get cavities." Went to another dentist, got a different X-ray at a different dentist, and the other dentist was like, "Yeah, you have no cavities. I don't know what this dude is saying." There's going to be people like that in every field, including therapy. So you have to keep an eye out for those people, and you have to approach therapy and finding a therapist in an informed way. I don't know. It's hard, and the thing is that what those shitty practitioners say about you does not determine your validity. It does not determine whether you're real or not. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about this a bit in our interview with Jade Miller, talking about peer support. Um, but the doctor works for you. Fire your doctor
Yeah.
if if you don't like them. The therapist that we saw before our current therapist, we did like 6 or 7 sessions with her, and then she like basically ripped the rug out from under us, and made it very clear that she didn't know what she was talking about. And so we found a new therapist, and then broke up with her via text in the parking lot of that new therapist. And she said, "Okay, well, we need to schedule a like closure meeting or whatever." And I was like, "Nope, we're not doing that. Sorry."
Mhm. Yeah.
It's like you don't have to do anything that they say.
Mhm.
They work for you.
Yeah. Treat it like any other medical appointment in that regard. If you have a shitty doctor, find a different doctor, and you don't have to do like any closure things. You're not restricted to one therapist. So often in so many parts of this community, there's people who treat therapists and specialists' word like the word of God being handed down to you. Sorry for that little religious thing, dude, but like I don't know what else to say it, because there's so many people who treat therapists' words like they can define what's going on with you, without recognizing that so much medical harm can come from therapists, and so many therapists don't know what they're talking about. Just like there's so many dentists who don't know what they're talking about, and how there's so many doctors who don't know what they're talking about, especially those especially the cis white men who have a complex about superiority. There's always going to be people going into the medical field with that, and you have to just be careful.
Okay, I gotta read these comments from chat.
Yeah.
I went to a counselor who said she didn't believe in mental illness. Not all therapists are good therapists. She also said that my partner at the time couldn't possibly love me because they had Asperger's. It's like, wow, first of all, what does that first one even mean? And
Yeah.
then secondly, oh, that hot ableism.
That hot ableism, yeah. Wow. Yikes.
That's some shit. Oh,
Mhm.
again, swearing on your stream. Sorry.
It's okay. I've kind of given up with like swearing on streams halfway through. I've, I've said that word a couple times.
See, I didn't even process that.
I mean, the thing is, there's a couple videos of ours from the very beginning where we did say a couple swear words, and they're still monetized. So hopefully, the YouTube, as long as we don't like repeat them over and over again,
Yeah.
we're gonna be okay.
I think it's only about like if you do it in the first minute.
Yeah, probably. Um,
She was a counselor, not a psychologist, but it still doesn't excuse it. Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, like an LCSW or whatever still should have a degree.
yeah. I mean, that reminds us all the way of like the school counselor in high school, which are probably like the worst mental health professionals you can ever get. Um, some of them are great, but at least the one in our school system was not good. Because I have this memory of like literally breaking down in front of her door because we were like going through really, really rough shit at that time. So we were like breaking down in front of her door, and she was there, and we were like, please, we just need to talk to you. We need to talk to someone, because we were like stuff was like off the rails in our brain at the time. And she told us, I'm sorry, I have a meeting I need to go to. Can we schedule an appointment in 5 days? And I just like, and like I never went back. But I just
Yeah.
like, I can't imagine having that little empathy for someone, especially like a struggling teenager who was going through abuse. Like,
I mean, even if you can't do it that day or
mhm.
like right then, how about later today or like tomorrow?
Or taking 30 seconds and being like empathetic for 30 seconds. Jesus. It was just like such lack of empathy. Like she was just so done with, like, it felt like any mentally ill kids. It was just like I was an annoyance, and it was not as bad as the other specialist, but like that was still another really bad experience that we had.
Strawberry
Mhm.
says, as someone with intensive medical trauma, medical professionals can really suck. Same
Mhm.
hat.
Same hat. We did a thread on Twitter just last night about that medical trauma in the community and language, and how our community is very closed off to folks with medical trauma. So if you're interested, go check that out. I don't know. That's me awkwardly avoiding that. I'm gonna read a lot of these comments.
Tammy, your messages didn't come through. I don't know what you want us to
Yeah,
answer.
if you put another question down, Tammy, please, we'd be happy to. Yeah, there's a couple that we aren't seeing. Someone said, that's so bad, Eva, but I can't find any Eva that said something.
Hmm. I'm looking at live chat too. Like,
Me
what
too,
is
yeah.
even going
Huh.
on?
No.
YouTube can have little a bad interface.
YouTube can have a lot of bad interface. Yeah. Oh, yikes. Yeah. Thankfully, we have never had to go through the Christian therapist phase, but I've heard only bad things.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
That sounds real bad.
Yeah. But yeah, be careful with your therapists, guys. Don't take their word as the word of God. Therapy should be a relationship. It should not be one person having all the answers and then giving them to another person. It should be a relationship. It should be a conversation. You should be able to talk about your diagnoses, what they mean, go through the DSM criteria together, go through the literal, like, any exam, like, forms that you fill out with them. It should be a conversation. You should be able to say no to your therapist. You should feel comfortable saying no. You should be comfortable saying this doesn't fit me. Gosh. Yeah.
Hey, the good lucks are here.
Oh, the good lucks. Hello.
If anyone can see Tammy's other messages, can you like copy paste it?
Yeah. I think YouTube is eating comments because a whole bunch of people added, two people added Tammy again. Um, YouTube is hungry and eating comments. It's probably not just y'all.
What are your thoughts on living without a diagnosis, for
I
instance?
wonder, what?
No, you go first. You gasped at something. What's up?
I wonder if it's, because the way our YouTube is set up is that it blocks some words and it holds them for review, so I'm wondering if that's popping in. And hold, like,
Maybe.
because we have a couple words like blocked. I think it's a whole bunch of like ableist stuff and like a couple things that we're nervous about. I wonder if that's it. If it still doesn't work, you guys are welcome to message us during the stream. Um, we haven't seen anything from you since. I'll just keep putting it till it works, Tammy. If you have any of our social media, just please let us know. You can message us on those social media and we can like literally read it out in the stream. I'm sorry it's not working. I'm so sorry, hun. Yeah. You're also like Tammy is also you're welcome to just like message us anytime in general. We're super receptive to that. We will literally like message anyone who messages us. So, yeah.
Same.
Hmm.
Um. So, what's your thoughts on living without a diagnosis?
Um in our opinion we actually would be I I still don't technically know if our diagnosis is on paper for insurance or not, which is something I keep forgetting to ask our therapist, but we don't want it on paper for our insurance. We actually don't want to live with an on paper diagnosis because it's really dangerous in a lot of senses. Our opinion is unless you need it for medications, accommodations, or some other legal reason, or you're having such validation issues that you just really need a diagnosis, you should not have one on paper, because if you have organ failure, they will take you off of the wait list to receive new organs if you have a diagnosis of DID, OCD, or BPD, which is borderline personality disorder. Um, this was told to us by our second specialist, who refused to diagnose us because we didn't, not because we didn't fit the criteria, but because we didn't have any of those stated needs. We didn't need medications. She sat us down. She was like, this can seriously harm you later in your life. I know you want a diagnosis for validation, but we can continue on with therapy without one on paper, and it will help you down the road. Because again, you can literally, the medical system values your life less. You can be blocked from adopting children. You can have extended prison sentences. You can be convicted wrongly in some cases because of your diagnosis. Society is so incredibly hard on people with serious mental illness. And there's such a huge vibe in this community that's like you have to have a diagnosis to be valid, and I feel like that's completely out of touch to a massive amount of violence that we face. And maybe I'm more angry about this because we help co-facilitate a disability justice group, so we often work with people who are involuntarily hospitalized and directly deal with and face this stigma, but it's incredibly overwhelming and harmful. And so not having a diagnosis is often just physically safer in a lot of different ways. And that's her take on it.
Yes, I would
Yeah.
like to add that anyone in this community that says that you need to have a diagnosis to be valid is one, incorrect, and two, it's kind of inherently ableist, classist, racist, sexist. It is incredibly hard to get diagnosed with freaking anything. Um, it's being able to get diagnosed with something is kind of a privilege.
Mm-hmm.
And even if it is like a horrible detriment, like being able to say, I want to get diagnosed with this thing that I think I have, and then going out and actually doing that is not great. Like like getting diagnosed um with uh autism as an adult, um real hard, almost impossible, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the and era system says to note that this varies by country, but this is very shitty. We live in the US. US is very shitty about all this stuff. And there's a
Hmm.
whole bunch of reactions about the organ donation thing. Recently, I think the most recent paper was put out either in late 2019 or early 2020. And the conclusion of that paper is that unless you are actively within the process of integrating, you do not get put back on the wait list. If you've integrated, you're considered to be put back on the wait list to receive organ donations. But so this is very recent. This is very up to date, and it's not just folks with DID and OSD and BPD. There's also a whole bunch of people with physical disabilities that are often kicked off the wait list to receive organs too. So it's wild that like they have they're choosing a form of therapy that only a third of the community wants, and then considering that as a standard of being a singlet again is healing and worthy of life-saving organs. Anyways.
Guys, we are trying to answer every question, so if we don't like answer your question, assume that we have not seen it.
Yeah, I second that. If we haven't answered your question, we haven't seen it. That's a good rule of thumb. Um, yeah.
How
Yeah.
much or how little does y'all's interaction with the outer world change when doing heavy inner world work?
I don't know. We haven't done super heavy inner world work. We haven't. I, as Silver number 4, haven't accessed the inner world in a couple months, too. So like, that's another thing.
Yeah, I haven't seriously tried to access our inner world for a while.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'm not quite sure what you mean. Like, does one lose contact with like reality in some way? I'm not sure. Um, I don't know. I That's just not our experience. We don't have
Mhm.
that experience, I guess.
Yeah. Um, we will link the paper about organ donations in the description after the live stream for Masked Panda System. It's specifically about dissociative identity disorder. This paper, um, but we've seen it recently. Sorry. Yeah, and for the GENIC GEANIC. I don't know if we've seen your questions. Please resend them. We'd love to answer them. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's just other things like at the conference in February, we were talking with some of our friends, and one of the older community members gently sat us down and was like, "You know that your YouTube is probably going to interact with getting a job and like adopting children in the future, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we know." And it's like we sit here gently knowing that this is going to hugely impact our life because having one of these diagnoses incredibly negatively impacts your life. And it absolutely sucks. And I don't know if I have even any words to describe it, but it's why we do the work we do because we want to try to make that better. Yeah.
Yeah. We said this in our first live stream, I think, but someone asked if we were like worried about like the impact of doing this channel, and honestly, the answer is not really, because I think that the work that we do is more important than, I don't know, our individual stuff, I guess. That in our specific opinion. Like when people say like, "Hey, you've helped our system a lot," it's like that's that's what we're doing this for, and if we have to make small sacrifices for it, then so be it.
Mhm. Yeah. We got a question from Tuchu Plus question mark. I don't know how to pronounce it. Um is it possible to switch with amnesia with certain alters and with others not switch with amnesia? Yes, this is a very
Yeah.
common thing with DID systems. Amnesia can be between certain alters and not other alters. Yeah.
Tammy says they DM'd their questions to you.
Yeah. What thing did you DM us to us? This is the Pat. Where did our phone go?
If
Um.
it's DM, I would assume that it's Twitter.
Yeah. Oh God, where's our phone? Oh no.
Do
There
you
it is.
want me to
Found it.
like call
I
you?
got it. I got
Okay.
it. I got it. It was just like I'm sitting on the bed and it was in all the blankets. Do do do. Time. Yeah. 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 Masked Panda put it right. They restrict the organ donation so they don't waste organs, and it's just like, yeah.
Our systems alters only come our systems alters only comment on things we haven't had a full conversation, like someone could say, "Don't do that, no argument or opinions." Will this improve in conversation if we start trauma therapy? Um, Potentially, yeah. There are some systems where like communication never really gets better, and it's super unfortunate. But I would say most systems, once you start doing like recovery things and once you like work on communicating, communication gets better. And your other question of what is a subsystem is a system inside of a system. So an alter in a system has their own system.
Yeah. For Tammy, what platform did y'all message it to us on? Because I don't. I checked a whole bunch, but I'm not sure where it's coming. No. Or maybe it's just like my phone isn't loading either. Okay. Anyways,
Do y'all have any advice on finding and making system friends?
I
Their
don't know.
Discord server.
Discord has a very thriving community. We feel most comfortable in Discord servers and in Plural Gang on Twitter. Those are our two comfort spaces. But find the spaces that work best for you and have the people that you feel most comfortable with, and then just reach out to some folks. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always just
We like. Oh, sorry.
yeah. It's always just kind of happened for us. So yeah.
Yeah, we like Twitter a lot ourselves. That's where we've met a lot of our system friends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um. Yeah, we'll definitely have to go into our settings on the blocked words after this, and just
Yeah,
probably just take them all out. Um, except for because like we hold all our comments for review anyways.
yeah,
We put them all in back when we were like we only want to hold some comments for review, but then we hold all of them for review now, so I'll just take those out for future live streams.
yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. If I don't see any new questions.
Oh, I see one more. Is there a way to know if an alter has gone dormant? We have live memories that no one can relate to.
Oh, wait, I think Tammy might have discorded us to us. Yes.
Ooh.
Ah, Tammy was Discord. Okay. Hi, Tammy. Do either of you get like a tick when they switch? Like my right eye gets kind of stuck and twitchy. Um,
I don't think that's uncommon. No.
I don't think it's uncommon. My brain is like, there's something we relate to in that, but I can't figure out the example. Um,
I mean, even with just other systems on YouTube, I know that dissociated their eyes like flutter a lot. Oh, flutter a
mhm.
lot when they switch.
Yeah. I mean, our eyes like lose focus. We also tend to like sneeze more when we switch. For some reason, we sneeze. Um, and then also, I don't know, we tend to like not focus our eyes and stuff. I don't know. It's like my brain goes like, there's some things we do with our body when we switch, but I can't remember any of them right now. Yeah.
Is it unusual to have no inner world? No, it's not unusual.
Nope.
Happens with some systems.
We didn't have an inner world for the longest time until like about a year and a half ago, and then we built it ourselves. Yeah. Not unusual at all. I think it's honestly more common in OST 1B systems, like just based on talking to a whole bunch of systems. So no scientific evidence on it, just our observation. Um,
See you, good lucks.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Goodbye. Good lucks. Um, yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. How do you deal with littles getting upset? I have a lot of trouble with them confronting in school or public in general and start crying. Hmm.
Therapy is my honest answer.
Yeah. Um, I also think building strong inner community is helpful, like building strong relationships between alters and having alters not only yourself as the host, but other alters build strong relationships with your littles. It can help them feel more trusting and attached to the system and give them people to lean on inside. Yeah.
So, do you want to go into like a 5 minute wrap up here so that girlfriend
Yeah.
can get her computer back?
Yeah, we shouldn't steal the computer for 2 whole hours. Yeah. Okay. So 5 minute wrap up. Does anyone have any wrap up questions quick? Um, yeah. There's a whole bunch of people mentioning stuff about inner worlds and a whole bunch of people mentioning things about getting dizzy or having the little body things and tics with certain alters when they switch.
Sometimes we sort of like buzz when we switch. Like
Hmm.
I think one of us tweeted last night like dissociation vibration flavor.
Huh.
Like
Yeah, I think I saw that. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's been nice streaming with you guys. I'm glad to have you on call. Hopefully, the next
oh,
time you stream will be in person, and then we won't have to have a call and a stream running on the laptop at the same time, and it'll be
yeah.
easier on the stream end and less laggy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We would love to do this with you again in person
Yeah.
soon.
Okay. And now all I have to do is not get super. Go back through the entire live stream and edit it so it flows nicely like a video, because I cannot do that.
No.
Do not do that. Yeah. Yeah. Is there a difference between CPTSD with secondary structural dissociation and OSDD? Yes. There is, but we're lagging on the stream, so I'm gonna wait till we come back. Okay, are we back yet? I don't know if we're back yet on the stream. It's still lagging. Sorry for the lag. Also, at
Different system.
what?
Not gonna answer a question because it's lagging, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, we're just waiting. Okay. Would you mind retyping? I can't quite. I don't remember your last question. Oh well. It's I think she's back. No, she's still going. Um oh well. Rip. Rip the stream.
Want to answer one last question for the VOD?
One last. There was a difference. What's your favorite? Oh, there's
Yeah,
a
that's the thing I was gonna ask you.
yeah, that would be a really good last one. But about the secondary structural dissociation and OSCD, go to didresearch.org. There's a very good paragraph on their section on DID versus OSCD about the differences between CPTSD and OSCD 1B alters. I don't know. I hope you can hear us. I hope you can still hear us. Okay. We're going to answer one last question and then end the stream regardless.
So, ring system.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about being a louder voice of the DID-OSTD community and doing YouTube?
Oh, I think my favorite part is actually like there was someone who mentioned us in a Twitter tweet yesterday that was recommending our channels, and they said something about how we fill in the gaps that other DID education misses, whether that's about OSCD content or about things like the cocktail effect or just things for the community. I really liked swinging our channel around from education to being community focused, because I feel like a lot of our earlier videos were aimed towards single education, and now we're focused on community education. So building someone says the video is dissociation, but the audio is fully fronting. Love that. But the swing towards educating the community about community-based issues and like being able to build those connections with the community and being able to fill in those gaps and provide validation for the people who have looked at other content and been like, why don't I see myself in this content? I think
Oh yeah,
is very
making the content that you want to see in the world.
yeah. I mean, the reason why we started this channel is because when we were discovering things, it would have meant the world and a half to us to have someone making videos about OSCD 1B. I remember the first time we ever saw someone who made a video about OSCD 1B. It was about DDNOS at the time. We like cried like full out in the back of like a room. We were like at some event and we just stumbled across it on YouTube and we just like full out cried. So we like our favorite thing is being the voice for the things that we wish we saw in the community but don't. And I don't know. Not to say that other people don't make great content, because they definitely do. It's just like I like talking about the things that impact us and then seeing other people be like, this impacts us too. And then us all being able to come together and like share that experience.
Yeah.
And it's the coming together of the community. Yeah.
It's so rewarding when you can say like, I experienced this, but I haven't heard anyone else talk about it. And then you get a flood of people saying, like, yeah, I get that too.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's our favorite part, I think. Yeah. Mhm. And like, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't really know if there's much more on that. Just like creating